Race here for the finale here at the Pike. Here comes Darcy up the hill, closely followed by the All-Ireland champion in Class 3. That's Billy Power. The rest of them are starting to make up ground, Kennedy especially. So it's Billy Power in second place and Darcy hanging on tenaciously. Up into third place then we have Pat Kennedy, 48. Kiley is trying to get back after him, but he unfortunately had that mishap in the very first lap. Now we look at Pat Kennedy in the all blue. But if we look back up the home straight, here comes the two leaders. Can Darcy hang on? Tenacious driving from him. Here comes the challenge from number 345. That's Billy Power there in the Class 3. Pat Kennedy getting ever nearer. Then comes in fourth place then. We have Tim Barry, the other All-Ireland champion. Then comes Kiley, Maurice Kiley. He's back at the tail of the field at the moment, being followed by Canis Nolan. But we look up the top end of the track, and here we look at our two leaders coming in. Now Darcy still hanging on. Can he hold it? Here comes another determined challenge from 345. But still, Power is being held off by the magnificent driving of Darcy. It's Darcy from Power, and then comes Kennedy. And Kiley is after moving up into fourth place, and he's not out of it yet. And down the far end of the track, here we have the challenge now. And it's Billy Power and Darcy together. And look at Darcy holding him off on the inside, sending Power wide. He sends him very wide. And oh, a pile of dust from him there. And now the challenge is really on again. Right underneath us they come. Darcy, Power, Darcy and Power. Then comes Kennedy. Behind Kennedy comes Kiley, making up good ground into fourth place. Over the far end of the track, and this race is not over by a long chalk. This Darcy is not done with yet, and to be truthful, this Class 3 All-Ireland champion Billy Power, he has the bit between his teeth and he's coming sailing after that man again. Kennedy is after making up tremendous ground, and don't forget that he's the highest CC car that's there at the moment. He's the Class 5 man. Kiley is after making up good ground to 4. But it's still Darcy that is the leader. He's been held off all the time. But Kennedy now, he's making up tremendous ground behind these. And really, it's anybody's race. And a white flag goes up there for Ray Darcy to tell him be careful. And the challenge is still coming. But I'm very impressed here with this man Kennedy, because he has a lot of power there. And in fact, Kennedy now could turn out to be the nigger in the pile, as he has the power and the horsepower to do the two of them. But it's laps now is the problem. Is there enough laps now for Pat Kennedy to actually come up here and win this race of champions? And I know that he would dearly love to win it. Here comes Darcy, and look at Kennedy dropping in, easing in behind him. And a really fabulous finale here at the Pike in 1984. The drivers are to be congratulated. Look at them really dicing here. And there's a little bit of a lead. But Darcy still holds them off. And look at Kennedy. The three of them absolutely locked together as they race round. On one mistake and Kennedy will be through. Look at Kennedy nipping in on the inside. And here he comes. Look at that. He's been held off, and Darcy. Oh, and a mistake. And have we got a mistake? And look at him gone. Oh, Power is after losing ground. Billy Power has gone very wide down the bottom end, and that leaves Kennedy up now to try and challenge Darcy. And the man Darcy is something else behind the wheel. Can he hold off Kennedy now? The laps are ticking away. There can't be too many more to go, but Kennedy has far more power than Darcy. And here comes Kennedy, as expected. Oh, look at this. And Darcy. Oh, dear me. That man Darcy actually held him off going into that bend by driving up on the bank. And now Kennedy, and look at Power coming back into it again, and Kiley is not too far away either, and here he comes. Pat Kennedy takes it up, and look at Kiley. Kiley is making up tremendous ground behind the three of them. It's a magnificent race, one of the best hot rods ever seen. This is Kennedy the leader, Power is in second, and Darcy. And the unfortunate thing about Kiley is he didn't get a chance to be up there, so Maurice Kiley is coming now with it, also a challenge. And Darcy is down in the dip, but Kennedy is starting to go away. The laps continue to tick away. And look at Kiley racing up into second place. Magnificent stuff from him. Oh, this is super hot rod racing. Hot rod racing at its best. The likes of it has never been seen. Here comes Kennedy with Maurice Kiley after him. And now the dice is between the two Class 5 men. Look at Darcy hanging on tenaciously for third place. But now here comes Kiley. Can he get after him? And there's not too much time left. And Power is coming back to try and get into third place. They're on the penultimate lap, just want to go. They'll get the last lap sign this time. Here comes Kennedy. Kiley nipping in behind him. Has he got enough time? Oh dear me, this is really fabulous and exciting stuff. Racing all the way. It's Kennedy in the lead. That's Pat Kennedy from Kiley. Morris Kiley only has this to go. And here he comes with a tremendous challenge as they race down the bottom straight for the last time under the opposite sign. It looks like Kennedy, the champion of champions, or is it? Here comes Kiley. No, it looks to me, unless he can do something unbelievable. But he can't. There he comes. Pat Kennedy is the by just a car length from, oh dear me, look at him underneath this here. That's Kiley. Ray Darcy tenaciously hangs on to third place from that man number 345. That's Billy Power in fourth position. Canis Nolan coming in fifth. And these, in fact, are the only 5 that finish. Oh, and what an unbelievable race this is. We look at the champion of champions. The champion of champions. There he is. In fact, he was only second in the Class 5, being beaten by Morris Kiley. But what an excellent turnaround in form. And we won't forget that Kiley had a problem there running into the tyres on the first lap. But here he comes, the champion of champions. 1984, this magnificent hot rod race meeting organised by the Waterford Hot Rod Club. There he comes, showing the thumbs up sign with the checkered flag. The champion of champions, and the 5,000 crowd here were really treated to something spectacular. It was the most unbelievable race seen in years. The way it transpired, with that man Ray Darcy hanging on for so long, and Billy Power, Tim Barry leading earlier on. Then we had that man that we're looking at now, 48, Pat Kennedy making up great ground. Morris Kiley having a problem on the first lap, coming back to be only beaten by a car's length. So that was the winner. There he is, number 48. That's the winner, Pat Kennedy. In second place, Morris Kiley. In third place, Ray Darcy. And in fourth place, then, Billy Power. Here now we have the champion of champions, 1984. Drove a magnificent race. I've been hot rodding since it came up this end of the country in 1971. And Pat Kennedy here is not too far away from being at it as long as I am. Pat, that was a really super race.
Yeah, well, I had a lot of cars.
Would you like to look up this way? You had a lot of cars in the race.
Yeah, we had a lot of cars in the race. And we started at the back straight here, myself and Morris Kiley. And a good few cars dropped out. I was lucky enough, I kind of paced myself fairly even, not to overreact in the first few laps and spin out. That's what happened to me a couple of months ago there in a big race. So I kind of paced myself. And just as the race was over, I realised that Morris Kiley was still in the race. I thought he had gone out.
Yeah, on the first lap, of course, we saw him here and he actually jumped up on the tyres, and you thought that was the end of him.
I thought that he was gone out since then.
I think we all thought that, in fact, you know.
I thought that was the end of him. And I was coming along the last lap after taking the checkered flag when I saw him coming beside me. But the lads were telling me there now that he was really hot on my tail there for the last couple of laps.
Car's length is the way we look at it, looking at it from here. But going back a little bit from Morris then, during the race you had Ray Darcy, who was out in front of you, and also Power. Now these cars seem to be going and pulling away from you a bit, and yet you just came at the right time. How were you looking at them in front, especially when you moved up on Darcy and he actually held you off right here going down after about the halfway stage?
Well, I knew I wasn't on the last lap, so I wasn't going to panic. I knew I'd easily get him on the back straight, so I kept my cool, because it's easy to spin out down there. I knew I had the power to take him on the back straight, like, so I didn't panic.
He is a super driver, of course. Well, and the Darcys have had a good day.
He's a very good driver, like. It's a kind of a cat and mouse race, and this time the cat caught up in the mouse. The last couple of times I didn't catch him in the big races.
Now in 1983, which was only last year, I'm told you had horrid bad luck when you were just going out for the Class 5 championship. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that? You had a problem with the engine, I think.
Yeah, I was tuning up the car in the pits and she dropped the valve. That was the end of my day's racing before I even started, you know, back to the drawing board.
Yeah. Well, do you think this is adequate compensation for what happened here this afternoon?
Yeah, well, I'm delighted to get the win here. I don't think I tried hard enough in the Class 5 race I was waiting for Morris to make a mistake, but he didn't.
He was driving superb stuff, of course, in the Class 5
He
race.
was really driving tight. He usually slides out a bit, but today he didn't. I was for too long. I was waiting for him to make a mistake, but about 15 laps gone, I started trying to pass him. I just couldn't make it, you know.
Well, this being 1984, and you've been hot rod driving for so long and so many different types of cars. How much does this particular race mean to you? Is it icing on the cake for all the years you've been at it, or is it just another race, or how do you think about it?
Well, it's hard to answer that off the top of my head, but it's a good race. I like the sport. It's a good day of sport. I think there wasn't any messing around here all day. I'm delighted that it was a good day of sport, and again, I'm delighted that I won something in the wind-up, you know.
I think the Waterford Hot Rod Club are to be congratulated on the excellent way they ran the event.
Yeah, it was, everything ran smoothly, you know. There was no hitch-ups at all. We were worrying about this and that, and it all came through okay, you know. It felt right.
Well, Pat Kennedy, champion of champions 1984, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us.
Thank you.
So, well, there we are. With us now is Maurice Kiley, who is All-Ireland champion in Class 5 here at the Pike in 1984. A bit unusual, you had in fact sponsored the Class 5 race.
That's right, yeah. I didn't really expect to win it, but everything went right on the day anyway.
No, behind you, close behind you, was Kennedy.
Very close, yeah. That's a lot of pressure to have him behind you for 20 laps.
Yeah. You're just hot rodding 2 years.
That's right, yeah.
How much did it mean to you to actually win the All-Ireland champion here, just a mile from home?
Oh, it just meant a lot. I couldn't have asked for better. It was what I always wanted to win All-Ireland since I started. I'm delighted to have won it.
How did you see the pattern of the race? Did you feel comfortable all the time, or did you feel the pressure on?
I felt the pressure from the start. After about 2 laps, Kennedy was behind me, and I felt the pressure all the way from there on.
Yeah, now, the organisation of today, of course, you were running in, Class 5. There's a lot of cars after going out before. How did you find the track?
I found it very good, yeah. The track was superb today. As good as any day it ever was. Now, I'd say the best day ever for him.
What sort of revs were you pulling down the back straight?
I'm not really sure. Speed, I don't know.
Speed, miles per hour?
I'd say around 70, 75, I'd say, yeah. In the middle of the straight, yeah.
Well, now, having done it for 2 years, what do you look forward to in the future? Maybe winning this race of champions that he just...
Well, that's gone now anyway.
Well, tell me about the race of champions. You were terribly unlucky. We were looking at you on the first lap, and you all of a sudden you came into the straight and went straight into the tyres. What actually happened to you?
Well, I said the track must have been watered, and I came round the corner a bit kind of fast. I put down the boot a bit sooner than I should have, like. I was driving as if I was in dry conditions, like. So I lost control of the car and I went up on the tyres. But I reversed off then and I said I'd follow on, and I didn't think I'd come anywhere. But I just kept the shoe down, and I was picking them off one by one.
You must have a big following here, because as you were snaking up behind Kennedy there was a tremendous roar going on here with about 5,000 roaring the heads off, and a lot of them heading towards you. They must know you fairly well locally.
Well, I'd say they'd be cheering for anyone who'd come from the back like that. They're a good sports crowd coming here, and they'd always cheer on the fella doesn't have a look, kind of.
Of course, the Darcys were there as well, and he drove a super race too. Did you have problems getting by him as you were making up ground through the field?
He had a lot of catching. I passed him, and I think the second last lap. He takes catching any day.
And it's a super track here, and I think the Waterford Club are to be congratulated for the marvellous day's entertainment that they gave everybody.
I'd say so, yeah. It was very well organised. Everything went off grand. No mishaps.
Well, I'm sure everybody would like to thank you for sponsoring and winning your own race, and congratulations to the 1984 All-Ireland champion in Class 5. And there we have, that's Maurice Kiley. Behind every big race meeting like this, there's always a tremendous amount of pressure on people to make sure that everything gets underway all right, and you must have a leading man. The chairman of the Waterford Club is John Darcy, and we saw his wife winning earlier on. In fact, he himself won the consolation 1 and 2, and it wasn't a bad piece of driving either. Good race.
No, I really enjoyed the race. I got a great break from the start, and I just kept going.
After half a lap, in fact, from being so far back, you were in the lead. Were you surprised yourself?
I was very surprised, because in the first take-off I got caught behind a few cars and I didn't get going so well, but the second time I got a great break. I think most of it was due to the track being in such good condition, and it was in absolutely perfect condition. You couldn't fault it in any way for driving. It was the best days. In actual fact, if you look at the sport in general today, it was the best day of sport that we've had on the track.
Well, I've been around as well, and I must say, and particularly the last race was something really magnificent. And I think all the club are to be congratulated. Now, would you like to tell me a little bit about, I mean, you have a long run up to an All-Ireland Championship. Apart from yourself, there must be a number of people who were terribly busy trying to sponsors, programme, advertisers. Would you like to say a little bit about that?
Well, I'd like to say that on behalf of the club, I'd like to thank everybody that helped in any way. We had problems, a lot of problems, but we overcome them. We've had tremendous help from people around sponsoring races. We've had Morris Kiley, Yoplate, and many others. At the moment, Snow Cream, we've had Jimmy O'Brien is looking after as well. We'd like to say thank you to Jimmy. And again, he's doing a magnificent job, along with yourself, showing the video for us tonight. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, we had our septic tank disposal. Now, he was a very important man, and he's been with you right from the start, if I remember rightly.
He was indeed a very important man. He was, without him, we couldn't race. And we also have another local lad, Gerard Murphy, who is very, very good to us. He comes along at a moment's notice and he does it for us. There's no problem there. Then again, I'd like to thank Martin for coming along, and everybody that helped in any way.
Well, now, it's later on this evening, then we have the presentation of trophies, and that's up in the local pub.
Yeah, above in Hayes in the Pike at 9 o'clock tonight. We have the presentation of trophies. We have Rory Wiley coming to take photographs of the winners. We have Laurel Reeds for the winners, plus a bottle of champagne.
Well, we'll be able to celebrate in a big way.
We're going to celebrate in a big way. The Waterford Club have 5 All-Irelands, 5 firsts in the All-Irelands. Second places and third places I can't say. But for the All-Ireland, for Waterford Club to get so many in an All-Ireland, I know it's at home, but we put the effort into it. All the drivers came along. We had drivers all the week.
You've had a magnificent response, of course, from the other clubs.
Definitely. Without those clubs, we couldn't race either because we wouldn't have the number of cars. Then we have the people that came along every night during the week. We swept the track. We cut the hedges. People came along 2 days with tractors and cut hedges. We had people cutting the grass. Lara Raher came along and cut the grass. We have had drivers here every night of the week helping us. And without those drivers, we've also had outside help from other clubs. I'd like to thank the clubs that came along and supported us, and I hope they enjoyed their racing, and if they didn't get something, well, we hope they'll be back again and maybe get something the next day.
I think the spectators listening to them, they were really getting involved in the sport, and I think it can do nothing but good for the entertainment that they had here today. Now, for the future of the track, have you anything planned to extend, or are you leaving it as it is, or what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think listening to the drivers and listening to the club, that there's no way you could make it any better. There's absolutely no way you could make it any better, any safer, any faster, unless we spend an enormous amount of money, which we don't see fit at the moment, because it is perfect. All the drivers come along and everyone, you talk to drivers that have only raced on it today, their first day, and they can go home and they can say, well, we really had a good day. We had a good day's racing because the track is superb. There's no doubt about that.
It's been a good day, of course, for the Darcy family. You had your wife winning, and of course we had Ray Darcy, who drove exceptionally well.
Well, Ray is a good driver. I've been behind Ray a few times lately, and unless Ray will make a mistake, you won't pass him. Unless he'll make a mistake, you won't pass him. He's the best Class 1 driver at the moment in here.
But the Darcy family have a terrible involvement here, haven't they?
Well, the Darcy family and their relatives. We have the Powers as well. Pat, who is very much involved with the club, and Virgil, who is the treasurer of the club.
Excellent treasurer, by the way.
Yeah, without a doubt, excellent treasurer. And we have an excellent
Secretary Kenneth Snow.
Secretary Kenneth Snow, yeah, without Kenneth. And his assistant secretary, Michael Sheehan. Yeah. Then we have our 2 scrutineers, Pat Kennedy and John Mackey. We have, of course, Billy Fennell, the course marshal, who I'd say he puts in more work on the track than anybody. And that's
But all these people do work so hard for free, gratis and for nothing, and the end product is what you have had today.
Enjoyment on the day. Enjoyment on the day.
Well, John, thanks very much for speaking to us, and we hope you have every success here at the Pike in the future.
Thank you. Thank you. Billy.
Course Marshal is Billy Fennell. You had a fairly hectic day today.
Yeah, very good day. Very enjoyable day, I hope, and I hope all the drivers enjoyed themselves and most of them behaved themselves, which is a very good thing to see.
But the job of course marshal, of course, is so important. There's a lot of work that goes in behind. Would you like to tell us a little bit about what you actually look out for on the day?
The sport, as I have said hundreds of times, is a non-contact sport, and to try and avoid guys bashing and try and keep the sport as clean as we can and save cars. You know, it costs a lot of money to build a car and try and keep it in condition.
We had a lot of people tumbling over. Yet I don't think we had 2 ambulances here. They weren't called on at all. I don't think even a bandage, I heard somebody say, wasn't, or a plaster even for a cut. That must be a bit of a record with all the tumbles that we did actually see.
It is, yeah. We very seldom have any bad accident. Very seldom they're needed, but it's delighted to see them there all the time. You know, they're great to attend all our meetings. So I'd like to thank them especially, because only for them, like, you couldn't hold race meetings.
Now, how did the crowd look to you today? I thought it was rather a big crowd.
Well, I really hope so, like, because we need shillings.
Is that bad, is it?
Well, bad enough.
Okay. Well, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. Thank you.
Just one thing.
Something
Yeah.
else, right?
I'd like to thank all our sponsors, QK, Swifts, Graham Motors, only for all these. Snow Cream, Snow Cream, Martin Power, Yoplay. Only for these, like, we couldn't hold this race meeting. And only for Jim Kerwin and these guys, we couldn't have the track there. So I'd like to really thank them. You know, I'm delighted to see them signs around there.
Well, there we are.
Waterford pop for that truck there.
And
I must get it back there now.
Well, there we are. Course Marshal really telling us about how things were going here this afternoon. But Class 3 was Billy Power. You had a really great day's racing.
Good, very good.
You were going well in the Race of Champions as well.
Yeah, it was a great race in that. Best race I had ever. Yeah, yeah, it's very good.
Now, what does it mean to you winning the All-Ireland Championship?
It's my first time winning it, so it's an achievement. Like, you know, I really enjoyed it.
How long have you actually been hot rodding?
This is my 4th year now.
And what have been your successes to date?
Inter-county, 2 driver of the years, and All-Ireland today.
No, the opposition in Class 3, unfortunately, I had to run off. We had a bit of problem with the video, and I had to run off and get a little thing. And I unfortunately didn't see you. I hope I might be able to see you later on. But the race itself, how did it develop for you? Did you think you had it sewn up at any time?
No, not at any time until the checker flag went down. That's when I knew I had it.
Now, you had a brilliant drive, in fact, in the Race of Champions. How did you see that race? We saw it must have been one of the best races ever seen, hot rod racing.
Cross was very good. I had a good man in front of me as well, like Ray Darcy. He was.
One would have not expected any of the 2 of you to be passed, in fact. But you spun a little bit there towards the end.
Small bit, yeah. It can't be helped.
Okay. Anyway, you had an excellent day's racing.
Great, it couldn't be better.
Good. Well, congratulations, and we hope to see you as a double champion in 1985. Hopefully. Thanks very much indeed. Well, the Club Limited are to be congratulated on the really absolutely magnificent afternoon sport that we've had here at the Pike, Dungarvan, on this beautiful August Sunday, the 19th of August in 1984. Hazes, sponsors, the victorious winners, the spectators have had really something to look at also this afternoon, and it has done hot rodding proud that this Waterford Hot Rod Club have really come good on this their big day. Men and machine have been tested to the limits, and we're just looking now at the last of them as they prepare to head off on their weary journey home. Some of them will be with us for the victorious presentation of prizes to the victorious winners later on. By the way, copies of this video can be had from Jimmy O'Brien Fidown. The presentation of the video, we'd like to remind you, is completely unedited and is as it happened. Presentation is by Jim O'Brien, Seamus Kiley, Jason O'Brien and Mark Kiley. We hope that you've enjoyed this afternoon with us, and we look forward to being with the Waterford Hot Rod Club on many occasions to come in the future. We hope that they have every success with this marvellous track that they have here at the Pike. So it's to Hazes and presentation of trophies until 1985. We say goodbye from the Pike, Dungarvan.